Okay, so before I actually get ready to assemble the HK600 here, I need to go through and basically disassemble the whole thing. The reason being is you need to put thread locker, and you want to get some blue thread locker. This is blue. Show you here. Okay, this is medium strength thread locker. This means that when you put it on, it's going to hold the screw in there, but you will be able to remove it. They make red thread locker, and that's permanent. So that means if you put the red thread locker on there, you're not getting your screw back out. So make sure you use blue. So anyways, you need to go through, and all these Allen screws, you need to take them out, put some thread locker on there, and put them back on. Don't put them on these ones right here, these 6, and then the 6 on the other side for this back tail pieces. You're going to have to take this off. But the other ones here for the bearing blocks, motor plate, you can go ahead and put thread locker on there as well as up here. And then I'll explain about this piece a little bit later. Then also I'm going to go through the head, and I'm going to put thread lock. I'm going to disassemble this, and anytime you got a metal screw going into a metal part, you need to put thread locker on there. Now the early kits, they don't come with any thread locker, so you're going to have to do this anyways, but you should always, anytime you get a kit, especially something like this, you're going to want to go through and apply your own thread locker anyways. So plan on having to do this. So I'm going to go through the head too and the tail. I'm going to disassemble it, apply the thread locker, and put it back together. Now I'm also going to be applying grease to the bearing, or the blade grips rather, the bearings in the blade grips, because I know they're not greased, because this is one of the early kits. So I'm going to do that too while I have it apart. But real quickly, I just want to give you a little note about taking this apart, this little shaft. You can see here, tell you about that, and then we'll go into the head and the tail. Okay, what I wanted to show you real quickly about taking this off is you need to get in here and put some thread locker on these Allen screws right here. So first off, you need a 2.5 millimeter Allen screw, and you can just go ahead and take, if you hold this center one, that'll keep the shaft from turning while you unscrew these screws. And you will need to be putting thread locker on these screws as well. But I'll go ahead and pop this one off, and I'm going to take this off. Whoop. Now be careful, because there's a little washer that can sometimes stick to the back of the bearing and fall off. Sometimes it'll stay on here. Just make sure you don't lose that. And I'm going to go over and do the other side here. Alright. Again, same thing. Careful. Now sometimes the bearings fall out too, so just be aware of that. And there we go. There's the washer. Now I need a 2 millimeter hex screw, and I need to go in here and take, there's 2 Allen set screws, one on each side. You need to loosen them up, and then what you can do is when they're loose, then you can go ahead and slide the whole shaft out, and then that'll let this come out. Okay, now I'm just going to set this here like that. I want to show you on the shaft here, it's got a little recess, okay, and the recess you want it going on this side, and then this will go like this. Now make sure these Allen screws sit in that recess. Now when I first got mine, my Allen screws sat on the side of the main that recess there, so they weren't lined up. So when I install this again, I'll make sure they're lined up in that little recess there. And again, make sure you take some blue thread locker, take it and apply it to these Allen set screws. Also take these ball links out, apply some blue thread locker to them as well. Anytime anything metal screwing into metal has to have blue thread locker on this helicopter. So then you can go ahead and slide it back in there. Get that position right, tighten them down, put the bell cranks on the side, and then you'll be good to go with that. And again, so I'm just going to work through this whole and get this all finished up with the thread locker, and then we'll move on to the head. Okay, a couple notes about disassembly, just show you what I'm going to do to take it apart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tail blade grips off. And this is pretty easy. You just got to disconnect the linkage for each tail blade grip there, rather. And when you take this off, show you here. Alright, first you have this little silver piece that'll come off, and then you have the screw, and also sometimes, let me see if I can get it out. Yeah, the bearing will come out too. This can fall out, so just be careful that if that bearing comes out, you don't lose it. So next thing I'm going to do is take this pitch slider arm off, and that's just this one screw. When you take this off, be careful because there's a little brass washer on the back side of the screw, and it can just fall off sometimes. You don't want to lose it. You see it right there? Don't lose that. Alright, so now you see here, this is free, and I've already taken the other side off. So now just need to loosen up this, and sometimes pulling this off can be a pain, but there we go. So this will come off. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to pop these bolts out. Actually, I can probably just do that right now real quick. Let's see, there we go. Now, this comes off, see here. Now, we've got this shaft. Your belt will come out. Let's see here. So then what I'm going to do is take the rest of this off, put thread locker on all these bolts, and then go ahead, put this down, slide my, well actually, probably just, there we go. This is going to be the easiest way for you to start putting this back together. Just get, the back assembled, put this on, put the belt on, and go ahead and put it down and screw it together. Okay, I've got these screws as well as these screws. Got thread locker applied to all of them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the tail blade, grip, and hub assembly back on here so I can take the grips off one at a time and apply grease to them. Another thing here, these bolts are longer than these three. Same thing on this side. These two are slightly longer than these three, so just be aware of that. And before I put my tail blade, grip, and hub assembly back on here, I'm just going to make sure my shaft here is straight. And that's as simple as just holding it nice and still and just pulling on the tail belt. And if it's bent, you'll be able to tell real quickly, because you'll see it wobbling. But it's just a really quick check just to make sure. So now I'm going to go ahead, put the tail blade, grip, and hub assembly back on, and go ahead and take the grips off one at a time and grease the bearings.